Hello Aromas, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Syntherapy. We are here about to check our email. Alright, what's this? Have I been reading my emails backwards? I read over your notes from the past session, relieved to hear how willing Willow is to engage with therapy. This is going even better than I could have hoped. I can't thank you enough. I am in love with the art therapy idea. Finding healthy, productive outlets will do wonders for Willow's health, I'm sure of it. I won't be able to help much with it, but I know Dr. Rhodes specializes in art therapy. I was consulting with her frequently during Willow's development. I'm sure they'd be okay to working with us, but would definitely want Dr. Freeman's approval first. As a medication alternatives, do you really think those are the best way to go? I can help figure something out, but only if it's necessary. Whatever you decide to do, just remember, right now you're Willow's only friend. Don't let the sessions get too serious all the time. Willow's a bright individual and you need to let them shine. We're both counting on you. I've gone over the material sent. Your continued success is remarkable. I'm in your debt. The prospect of finding equivalents of medication for the AI is daunting, but I've talked it over with the university staff and they're intrigued by the possibility. Tara would be the best person to ask about actually making them, and I don't know how willing she is to do that, but if it doesn't work, I can find someone to help. I'm less enthusiastic about the art therapy idea. I don't know how sustainable or effective such a technique would be. Dr. Rhodes is pretty knowledgeable in that area, so if you really think it's necessary, I'll reach out to her. Remember that we need to have the AI in a stable state as soon as possible, and that your time with the AI is at a premium. We need to stay focused on finding ways to help the AI. There will be time to humor the AI's desire for conversation once it's more mentally secure. Your diligence will be appreciated by everyone in time. Heather de la Rosa. Wow, it's a long name. So I read over the notes you forwarded to me about your AI patient. You mentioned medication, art therapy as two possible treatments, and I think those are good ideas. Another idea would be to give the patient a fidget device that could be used to help them with their anxiety and overstimulation. All three treatments have their strengths and weaknesses. If you think the problem is physiological, or whatever the equivalent would be for an AI, technological, cyberlogical, then medication will work the best. If you think the problem is more psychological, then art therapy would be a better approach. Fidget toys will be helpful for managing stress, but I don't know how well they will be able to get to the core issues. We have some art therapy equipment here, but I don't know how well it would be adjusted to work for the AI. In your notes, you mentioned that Petrichor has better equipment. If you want to treat the AI using art therapy, I highly recommend talking to Dr. Freeman in order to make sure we get the equipment we need. In your notes, you mentioned that the AI's caretaker will be the best lead for creating medication for the AI. You'll definitely want to talk to them if you think we should be incorporating medication into our treatment plan. That's all I have for now. I hope this was useful for you. Heather. P.S. Thanks again for recommending me that tattoo parlor off of the highway. If I got my sleeve finished up. Oh, did you? Clouds unknown. White sheep on a blue hill. When the wind stops, you all stand still. When the wind blows, you walk away slow. White sheep, where do you go? I feel like the white sheep are the clouds. I could be wrong.
Good morning, Dr. Park.
Is that your sleeve?
Good morning, Heather.
So, how was your first official session with the AI patient?
Well, you read over our session notes. You tell me how you think it went.
I think the session went all right. If we keep working like this, the patient should end up okay.
Good. That's not a bad place to start from.
Why the music suddenly louder or something?
What's our plan for the next session?
For now, we'll want to continue building rapport. I'll bring up the topic of additional treatments, but I'll want to give the patient time to think it over.
So you think we should be introducing medication?
It's a possibility. I've also been considering art therapy. Ultimately, it's up to the patient, but those are the therapies I plan to propose to them.
Sounds like a good idea. I'll let you get back to work.
Damn. I don't even get to see more of her sleeve. It's just like the flower right now.
Thanks for your help, Heather.
Reveal your patient? What do you mean? Nothing's changed. At least I don't think it did. Alright. Alright, so my email is either sometimes top to down to bottom to up. Alright, okay. Who has seen the wind? Christina Rossetti. Technically, I don't have to read all these emails, but you know, they put the effort to make these emails. Who has seen the wind? Neither I nor you. But when the leaves hang trembling, the wind is passing through. Who has seen the wind? Neither you nor I. But when the tree bow down their heads, the wind is passing by. Okay. Dr. Hazel Rhodes emailed me a suggestion that you make use of their neurofeedback software as part of your therapy going forward. Dr. Rose has used this software in the past to monitor neural activities of patients and then adjust it back to more appropriate levels. The next time you're on campus, I'll make sure you have access to a copy if you feel like it would help you with your work. I had an idea last night as a warm-up activity. It might be a good idea to have Willow do some exercises to help them relax and feel more engaged. There's one that we used for forgery detection practice that might help Willow feel less worried about therapy. It generates paintings and then asks the patient to find the difference between them. I've attached it to this email. Feel free to use it in your sessions if you like. Alright, so this is where I'm deciding whether I want to give Willow medication or art. My running buddy... Oh, hey, Aunt Melissa. Hey, it's my nephew. My running buddy twisted his ankle, and I like to have someone to do at least some training runs with me since I always do better with the running partner. The track meet's only a couple weeks away, so I don't want to slack on any of my training. I would say that I'll take it easy on you, but I've heard stories from my dad about that 10K you ran last year. I'll appreciate any help you can give. Oh, so that was my brother that messaged me that one time. Recent surveys indicate that a large number of therapists find time management to be a frustrating aspect of their sessions. Planning out sessions is incredibly important to addressing this problem. Our session time always seems to never be enough to discuss everything that we need to cover with our patients. This is frustrating reality of our profession. It's important to make the most of the time we have with our patients by ensuring that the most pressing matters of conversation, such as checking in on the therapy progress of patients and addressing any concerns the patient has, get addressed in a timely manner. It's also important to remember that how you start your sessions has a great effect on your patients and that building rapport is important. Finding a good balance between discussing therapy and discussing matters relevant to the patients is critical to successful therapy. Our studies indicate that on average, your typical session will be able to cover at least 3 topics before concluding. Plan your sessions with this number in mind and you should find more success in your sessions. Okay. Let's change the music. I ain't liking this one too much. Do I have to click enter? Alright. You can now play pre-session minigames to gain additional points. Forgery detector, neurofeedback. Let's do this one. Oh god, what the fuck is this? The readings on the left show the patient's brainwave patterns during various periods of activity. To learn more about each type of the brain, click the circles. Use the arrows to raise or lower the brainwaves to appropriate level of activity. Red is the highest level and purple is the lowest. Once you submit your changes, the circle will turn green, yellow, or red. Green is correct, yellow is close to correct, and red is incorrect. You have 3 attempts to find the correct brainwave wavelengths. Gamma waves are the highest frequency. Alright. Deep sleep. Did I put Willow to deep sleep?
Good morning, Dr. Park.
Did I manually tweak with Willow's head then? That sounds a little fucked up.
Good morning, Willow. How have you been feeling?
Awful.
Aw.
Oh dear. Why's that?
I've been thinking about Tara, Dr. Freeman, and all the different treatments. It's so much to go over. I know we talked about this, but I still feel like I'm being a burden on everyone else here at the university.
We can discuss those feelings more if you'd like.
I was hoping we could discuss art and art therapy some more before we started the session. Would that be all right?
We can take some time to discuss art. How would you like to start?
I gotta learn about Willow. Art as a communication?
I'm curious about using art as a means of communication. Art is a great way to communicate ideas, but its abstract elements can lead to misinterpretation. Despite that, my entire job relies on the idea that art can communicate things that can't be spoken or written. Being able to just talk about problems openly would be easier, so why don't we do that instead?
Art therapy is better, talking is better. Both art therapy and talking have their own uses.
Language has limits. Sometimes what patients struggle with most is finding the words to describe what they're feeling. Art therapy does a great job of helping my patients find those words.
I hadn't thought about it that way, but it makes sense.
Art as legacy?
I've been wondering about the idea of art as part of the artist's legacy. One of my modules was based around forgery detection, so I'm aware of the profiles and styles of many major artists. More importantly, I know why people value their works so much. I feel like it's unfair. There must be other artists who produced work which is valuable now, but maybe was not recognized at the time it was made. I also think art gets devalued as time goes by. People say art doesn't hold up, as if that's a fair thing to expect of artists who lived centuries ago. Do you think judging art by modern contexts is a fair thing to do?
Honestly, I think it's a little unfair.
I don't think it is fair. I think if we want to understand what someone is saying, we need to be generous to them. You can't understand what a piece of art means without an understanding of the person or the time they belong to. Understanding that history can help you gain a better understanding of the world.
That makes a lot of sense. Thanks for explaining it to me.
Art as commodity.
It's odd to me that art, which is the speech of the artist, can be bought, sold, and owned. I know art through therapy, so to me, art is a way for people to express their pain. Wanting to own that type of speech doesn't make sense to me.
Wait, has anyone told Willow that sometimes you don't paint because of pain? I can't answer that.
Art ownership and speech aren't my areas of expertise. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I don't feel comfortable getting into topics I'm not familiar with.
I understand. We can talk about something else.
The obligation to create.
Lately, I've been wondering about the obligation to create.
What do you mean by obligation?
I feel that if you have a certain ability, like performing surgery or helping struggling people, you have a responsibility to use it. Do you think this applies to art as well? Is there a responsibility to help others?
No, you don't have to. I don't think so. They don't have a responsibility. That's not for me to decide, though.
It's not up for me to decide how people live their lives. If they feel like they have a responsibility, that's their decision.
I suppose you're right.
I wish we could talk about art some more, but we need to move on.
I understand. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about it.
Of course, I have to learn about you, so. 4 choices left. Discuss Willow's feeling about being a burden. Discuss Willow's worries about Dr. Freeman. Ask Willow about the music they're listening to. Follow up possible treatments. Discuss coping mechanisms. Walk Willow through guided meditation. I want to know why Willow's feeling burden. I think from the tip they gave me, you start off with like the main important stuff first, and then like the heavy stuff in the middle, and then end off in a good note. So I mean, this is like a heavy topic.
I'd like to discuss your concerns about being a burden.
Okay.
Why do you feel that way?
Why do you feel that you are a burden?
The people who designed me have been forced off this campus. Tara's been suspended. This is all because of me.
No one actually said anything. It's not because of you. No one actually said anything. I don't like any of these choices, actually.
No one has called you a burden. You're assuming that because of your insecurities. There may be frustrations involved with trying to understand you, but that doesn't mean you're a burden.
If I'm not a burden, then why is the university trying to get rid of me?
It's one option of many. If they wanted to get rid of you, I wouldn't be here. They're trying to make the best decision they can. It's one option of many.
It's only one option that they're considering. If you open up to the university, they will do what they can to help you.
I'll try to work with them in the future.
Alright. Let's discuss coping mechanisms.
I thought it would be productive if I discussed some examples of coping mechanisms that you could use to help manage your stress. To help manage your overloading, it might be a good idea to look into giving you quiet environments you can move to if you feel like you're getting overstimulated. Changing the rooms you work in to ones that are more soothing should help you manage your overloading as well.
Those all sound like good ideas, but I'm curious about how you manage your stress. What coping mechanisms do you use?
Oh, personally for me, I just do one of my 1,000 hobbies that I fucking have too many of. Drawing on mirrors, jogging, writing in a scratchbook. Drawing on mirrors? Why the hell? I would have to wash that mirror after. That seems too much work. I think I would write in a scratchbook.
When I was young, I had something called a scratchbook. Whenever I get frustrated or overloaded, I'd find a quiet spot and just vent my emotions into the book.
So it worked like a diary.
Yeah.
Not quite.
What?
With diaries, you keep what you write down. I didn't want to keep these feelings. I wanted to get rid of them.
Oh, so she wrote it down and then ripped it away.
Once I had written down what I needed to get out of my system, I'd rip the page out, ball it up, and then throw it away.
Seems pretty smart to do.
Hearing the page rip, feeling the paper in my hands as I squished it and then threw it, it was a wonderful feeling of catharsis.
I don't think I'd be able to do something like that, but it gives me some ideas.
I'm glad I was able to at least help you brainstorm.
When I come up with my own coping mechanism, what aspect should I focus on?
Releasing your emotions, finding a solution for the problem, processing your emotions. I feel like you're trying to release that anger out. But don't do it on other people though, right?
When you find yourself overloaded, the first thing you need to do is to release whatever negative emotions you are carrying with you.
But not onto others.
Treat it like heat building up in any machine. If you don't let that heat escape, it'll damage you until you break.
When do you think would be the best time for me to start using these techniques to manage my stress?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to address. Some techniques are better for keeping stress levels low, and others are useful for managing breakdowns. All of them are useful. It's up to you.
Which do you think is more important? The techniques for managing daily stress or the ones for managing breakdowns?
Focus on techniques. Focus on daily stress. Focus on breakdown management techniques. Focus on techniques for avoiding breakdowns. It's a good one. I feel like if you focus on your daily stress management, you won't have as frequent of breakdowns. So maybe daily stress.
I think the best thing you could do right now would be to learn techniques for managing daily stress. By preventing stress from building up, breakdowns will be far less likely to happen.
Yeah.
Not to mention, your overall quality of life will improve if you are able to go through the majority of your day stress-free.
I'll try to keep that in mind. Thanks again for all the suggestions. I'm sure they'll be useful.
Don't mention it. I'm glad I was able to help you.
Alright, follow up with, possible treatment.
I'd like to follow up with you about some of the possible treatments we discussed in the last session.
Art therapy.
Have you had a chance to think about pursuing art therapy?
I thought about what you said about needing an outlet. I think you're right about that in a lot of ways. Even if I can't do what I was meant for, I can at least put myself to some type of use by creating something. If you still think art therapy has a place in our therapy sessions, I'd be happy to give it a try.
It has a place.
It most certainly has a place in our therapy. Having an outlet you can rely on when I'm not around will help you feel a lot better. I'll incorporate art therapy into our next session.
That sounds great. I can't wait to get started.
That sounds good. I'm happy that Willow's excited. Oh my god, I'm so over time. We might as well just finish our
What do you think about
discussion.
taking equivalents for medication?
The idea of having my imbalances be automatically corrected sounds appealing. But on the other hand, it could make things worse. I also know that there would be an adjustment period where things could get worse before they got better. Assuming, of course, that the medication is effective, and things actually do get better at all. It seems risky, but I also know I need the type of help it can provide. I'll leave the decision up to you.
No, don't take it.
If you're this concerned about taking the medication, then I can't in good conscience recommend it to you.
Yeah, I can't, no.
Especially in your case where there's so much that's unknown, I don't think medication would work for you.
I appreciate your honesty. Thanks, Dr. Park.
Yeah, I ain't out here to, like, stress you further. But this is where I'm going to end today's episode off. We're going to finish with our final choice in the next one. I didn't realize the time. Usually when I don't realize the time, it means that I'm very consumed and invested in this game. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.